Well, hello there, everybody, and this is Auntie, and I am here with an exclusive interview of one of our faves, or at least one of my faves, of Married at First Sight, Juan. And we're going to be having a very candid discussion about Married at First Sight. We're going to get to know Juan and we're going to ask him some of the hot burning questions that you all want to know about Juan. So without further ado, here's Juan.
Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? We are.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Auntie's Advice.
Thank you, Auntie. I want to just take this opportunity to thank you for having me on. I appreciate it very much.
Of course, because I had to hear what you had to say. We're going to talk about the truths that they fear.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And I wanted to just make sure that, I want to put this up front. You all
Mhm.
have been following me. I've been doing Married at First Sight from season 1, episode 1. And anytime that I have a guest on this platform, I never give them pre questions. Neither do I tell them what I'm going to ask them. And I do not take any suggestions of what they would like for me to ask. So, Juan, you're
Yeah,
getting him unfiltered
that's
today.
true. There's no questions. We haven't. I have no idea what I'm getting ready to be asked, and I'll do my best to answer them, and we'll see what happens.
Yes, and whatever you feel like you cannot answer, I've already told you, tell me to
Yeah,
kiss your. Okay.
absolutely. Thank you. I won't
And
do that, but but
okay.
I, but I appreciate it.
Now I did get an opportunity to briefly meet one, do a face to face with him yesterday, and I thought that that was fantastic. But we're going to be asking and talking about some truths and maybe
Absolutely.
some misconceptions,
Hmm.
and I think some intentions. And
Absolutely.
so, be comfortable, relax. We got this. So,
Okay.
Juan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Juan?
Um, Gosh. So I would say that I try to be a caring person. I'm an immigrant, obviously. You guys saw that on the show. I think part of that is just makes me really hungry here in this. I feel like my parents brought me here, and it was an opportunity to improve our lives. And I'm just looking to better myself and an individual that's constantly looking to better himself. And I'm open to feedback. I've heard a lot of the feedback. I've read a lot of the feedback. So I'm very open to making changes and listening to people and answering questions from people that maybe don't agree with me or don't see eye to eye with me. So I think that's the kind of person I am. I'm very open minded. You know, uh, thirsty for success and caring. I'm a caring person. I really care about people.
Okay. And so we saw that you are an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And so tell us a little bit about your businesses.
Yeah. So, my dad was a serial entrepreneur and he owns his own business. He has a cleaning company, and him and my mom, they actually own it together. And they grew it from, it was just them two. And now they have probably 20 to 30 employees and they have commercial accounts. And I kind of follow his footsteps. I started my career cleaning with them, so I've done everything under the sun in this country. When I graduated high school, I worked in construction, building houses. So I learned, how to, put houses together. Just, had a tool belt, hammer, nails, working on roofs. I mean, I did the whole thing. That was like right out of high school with one of my ex girlfriends. Her father owns a construction company. I'm still great friends with their family. By the way, they're amazing people. They're Riveras. Just I couldn't ask for better people. And after that, I got scouted at an airport to be a model. So I was at an airport in New York City.
Okay.
Yeah, and the director of this agency just came up to me, and I was a little bit hungover, to be honest with you. I was like 19, and I'd been partying in the city with a friend of mine, a Greek guy that lives in Queens. And this guy came up and was like, "Hey, listen, I think you got a great look. I think you should come to New York and work, you know?" So I packed all my stuff in my car. My mom was like, "Are you crazy? What the hell are you doing?" I went up to New York. I think I worked like, I did a few castings. I went to like Abercrombie and a few other castings. I was young, I was 19, and the city just ate me alive. Like, you don't realize at 19 years old what that city's like. And it was, I've never seen the movie Blue Steel, but I'm assuming it was probably something like that. I showed up to a model house. There was a bunch of guys sleeping on, bunk beds. The first thing I did was clean the bathroom because the bathroom was disgusting.
Oh my
And,
God.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
we saw your bathroom cleaning skills.
oh, I'm. Listen, my parents own a cleaning company, so I'm all about some cleaning. So I went up in there. I made that thing look good. I took a shower, and it just, the city ate me alive. So 3 months later, I was back in North Carolina. But then I just, like, people kept coming up to me and saying, like, you should be a model. You should be a model. So then I went down to I got a mother agency in North Carolina, and then I ended up getting signed in New York. I mean, in Miami by Next, which is a pretty big agency. I worked with them in runway models. With, I think they partnered up with BMG or BMC. I can't remember what it is. I worked with them. Next was amazing agency. Ron Gerard is the director there, and is just an incredible person. I couldn't say better things about him. I
Okay.
ended up doing a music video with Lil Wayne. So I'm a Lil Wayne music
Oh,
video. Ended up doing a few soap operas. It's Lil Wayne and PJ Morton. It's called Lover is the name
yeah.
of the video, if you guys want to look that up. And then I signed with an agency in New York. Um, Prior to that, I'm just kind of getting to how I got into the entrepreneurship. Um,
Take your time.
yeah, I was working and cleaning with my parents, before I went to Miami, between New York and Miami. And every day at lunch, I used to clean the CEO's office. And it took me some time to get done with school. I got a 2-year degree, and then I transferred, but I took a little break. When I moved to Miami, I went. I still kept my parents' address in North Carolina, so I went to Gardner Webb University, which is a small private school. I think it's like
Hmm.
a Baptist school in North Carolina, and so I did it all online. I finished an accounting degree, but
Okay.
I worked for my parents for about a year or two between going from New York to Miami. And during that time, I used to just go clean the CEO's office.
Hmm.
And every day I would go in there at lunchtime. Sometimes he'd be in there, and we would always shoot the shit, and he was like, one day when you graduate, I want you to work here. And he knew I was going to school for accounting. So, but he was like, you're not an accountant, man. You're a sales guy, like, I want you to work in our sales team. So sure enough, I I was gonna kind of, people that have never kind of been in the industry of acting and modeling, you get, that industry is very tough, and you got to have very tough skin. And some months would be great, but some months I wouldn't book anything, and it would be so tough. So I was praying, I was asking God, like, God, please give me a sign. I want to do, what should I do? And literally, my mom calls me. It
Hmm.
was it was in May, and I was getting ready to graduate with my bachelor's in accounting. And my mom was literally, I was praying to God in that moment. And then she calls me and tells me that the president of the company wants to talk to me because she told him that I was going to graduate. So I flew back to North Carolina, had a meeting.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a meeting with him. And then, like, probably 4 months later, I had my this was like 2013. I had my first, like, executive job.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So then I
So
moved back.
what
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
what brought you to creating an app? I see that you have
Yeah.
launched a new app. Wait a minute. First of
Yeah.
all, I was a bit confused about you this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Here's what I was confused about. And I want you to bring all of that in.
Yeah,
The
go ahead. Go ahead.
apartment with the hammock,
Yeah.
and the warehouse. Now, we had assumed when we met you that the warehouse was yours. Later on,
No,
we
no.
discovered
Yeah.
that it was someone else's, and I need you to tie the apartment with the hammock together with the cousin living there. Is
Yeah.
it the cousin?
My cousin. So here's what
Is the
happened
cousin
was that,
still there?
no, 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 no. So what happened was that I live by I live by myself. You know, I have my girlfriend now. She's from Brazil and she has two apartments down there, and she has a business. So she goes back and forth. So she lives here part time now, and things are changing. You know, like we're getting a new couch, and there's like new stools coming and
Yeah.
little things like that because obviously women put their touch on it. But no, what happened was that since my cousin was coming for a rotation because he's in
Okay.
medical school. So I said, well, dude, like, I'm going to be living in another apartment. So, you know, you could just stay at my apartment while you do your rotation. It was for a month. It just happened to work out.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he was crashing here since I was living at, and I didn't charge him rent or anything because his family's incredible. And so I let him just crash here while, you know, while he did his rotation. And the hammock is just one of those things that,
Is it still there, Juan?
you know what, it's still here, but my girlfriend loves taking naps in that hammock. So it's like,
What?
I swear to you, like she takes a nap in there like every day. It's wild.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about your app
Yeah. So what happened was that whenever I
and the
started,
warehouse. Because
yeah,
the warehouse, okay, let me go
yeah.
back. It appeared that you first said it was your warehouse
No,
when you
no, it's
took
not.
Karla
It's not
to
my
show
warehouse.
Karla. So that was the assumption that we got from the viewers.
Well, I'm
A lot
sorry.
of people
I'm
have
sorry
been
to mislead
saying
everyone. Yeah.
a lot of people have been saying that you've misled us. And
Yeah.
I was a bit confused myself because when they had, you all had the get together at the end, I was thinking, one saying now it's a friend. So
Yeah.
before we talk about the app, whose warehouse is it?
Yeah, so I have a business partner.
Okay.
His name's Tyler, and it's his warehouse, and we run business out of there. Now, it's a little
Okay.
confusing because people are like, "What do they do there? What the hell?" Like, there's no so the thing you got to understand is that modern business works in many different ways. You know, like for example, I bid a ton of work right out of this apartment. You know, like
Okay.
we just don't need the overhead of having a big facility. You know, like I can run like right now I'm running 10 projects out of this apartment. You know, there's no need to have this overhead of, and if I want to have a meeting, there's a penthouse on the 32nd floor of my building that has a very nice view of the lake. I mean, if I want to have a meeting with a client, I can reserve that space and I can, you know, it's very professional. So with the warehouse, he purchased the warehouse and he wanted to turn it into like this really interesting space for podcasting. And then he also had a
Yeah.
boxing ring in there.
Hmm.
So I helped him, you know, we mostly partnered on the millwork side, and millwork means like cabinetry, and what he does is mostly custom cabinetry. So we have one guy that works back there in the shop,
Okay.
so he utilizes that shop, but I utilize more like institutional partners, you know, where we do, like right now I have a project at St. Bernard Hospital with a construction company here in Chicago called Ujama. It's down in the south side of Chicago, and then I'm working with a lot of different contractors on Chicago public school projects. So the partners I work with are fabricators in like Tennessee. I have fabricators in Mexico. I have fabricators in Ohio. I have another fabricator in Michigan. So
Okay.
depending on the project needs, I reach out to my fabricators, and then I have a sub here in Chicago. Most of the installation is union. So I have a union subcontractor that works with me on all my projects. So like, for example, we delivered a job this morning and
Hmm.
you know, I either sell it for the GCs, so the general contractors to
Okay.
install it, or we can also provide the service. And then I provide the project management service, the engineering, the drafting. So I have a drafter in that I subcontract out that's in Philly. And then I have another engineer that does like any kind of really custom detailed drawings, but he's in the Philippines. So you know he's
Okay.
going to have people everywhere, and that it all comes together. And the contractors, at the end of the day, all they care is that the work gets completed, you know, and
Yeah.
it looks good, and they don't care how it happens. obviously I use reputable, fabricators and make sure that people are doing ethical things, and we provide certifications, whether it's AWI or CIFA if it's a science lab. But it's all done, like I have insurance. Everything's done with,
Okay.
I do my taxes. The whole thing is done right. I have
Okay.
workers' comp insurance, the whole thing.
Okay. So let's talk about your app.
Yeah. So how that happened was when I started working for that company,
Mm-hmm.
I started my career in science labs, right? So I did interior fit out of science labs. And what that means is that we would furnish the entire interior of a lab, which is the cabinetry, the countertops, the benches, the chemical fume hoods, the biological safety cabinets, all of the equipment, glassware washers. And when I started at that job, I did a rotational training program. So I started in the field doing installation, then I did
Okay.
estimating, then I did project management, then I did business development.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was doing business development, I traveled all over the country, basically doing lunch and learns for architects and lab
Okay.
planners. And during that time, I when I was traveling every week. I mean, I was on a plane every single week, and I was presenting a lot. And they would fly me out to just have lunch with somebody, and we would have lunch and talk about a project. I was just following the money, and then I was given the leads to all of our sales teams and dealers. And I just always felt like there was a lack of connection at the airport, And well,
Yeah. So
people
what
are
the app is about? It's almost like a dating app, but go
It
ahead.
is. It is. Well, people are, I just read this study that MasterCard did. Um, there's 100 million travelers a day around the world.
Yeah.
So the market share is massive. And the way I came up with the idea, I had the idea in 2016, but I didn't have enough money then, because I was just making, like, with a regular salary, you can't do things that are like extraordinary.
True.
So then I had the idea, and we came up with the app, and my brother, he's a computer software engineer. So we started working on it, and we got one of his friends, and we got to code the initial thing in 2016, but it looked like crap. It just, like, the UX experience was terrible. And I'm not a tech guy, but I use Instagram and
But you're a
TikTok.
user, right? Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, this looks so bad. Nobody's going to use this. So then I just put that in the back burner. And then I saw, like, we had an internal sales meeting at that company, and there was a guy living in Chicago that had the territory for the company, and I saw how much money he was making every year, and they were looking for a sales guy because this guy was going to retire, and I was like, shoot me up there, I'll do it, for that much money. So I came up here and I sold $10 million in 2 years. So when you
Wow.
sell that much, your commission is just crazy. And especially me living
Absolutely.
by
Six figures.
myself, I
Six
have
figures.
no expenses. When I got this job, I paid my college loans in like 3 months. I mean, it's just, you can just make so much money in sales. It's crazy. So then at that point, I was like, well, shoot, like, I want to do this. Like, if I put my mind on something, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this thing. And so I started searching for a company to develop the project. And I
Mm-hmm.
had $30,000 cash. And the quote they gave me, because I bid it out to different companies. It was $200,000. And I was like, shit,
Oh,
how am I going to do this? But they broke it out to where, like, it was like you can build it on it for Android, or you can build it for the iPhone, or you could build it for both, but it costs more money. It was 200 grand to build it for both. So I said, I'm going to go full send. Like, I'm not going to do half-ass things. I'm going to do this the whole, like, if I'm going to develop this and I'm going to lose my shirt, I'm going to lose it all the way, whatever. So then the way it worked, it was $5,000, so they could give you like a quote. So basically they give you a roadmap of how they're going to do this thing. And then it was 13 grand to build a prototype. And then they did $27,000 sprints, right? And I thought, okay, well, that gives me time to make commission and pay for this thing. But I didn't borrow a dime. I paid for it cash. I own 70% of the app right now.
well, that's
Um,
great.
but you know what? It's one of those things where some people think it's a great idea. Some people think it's a bad idea, but I don't regret it. I don't regret anything that I've ever done in my life, including writing that response in that YouTube video that I made.
We're going to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
And I don't
Yes.
regret it. because at the end of the day, if I wouldn't have done that, I couldn't have lived with the doubt that I had in my head. And I'll tell you this, it was the other reason I created the app is because I see that there's so many tech guys out there that are multi-billionaires. And I thought, if I can do this and this could be a success, I want to try to be in one of those guys' shoes and do something more for the world. And I'm going to read you something because I cut out this. I was at church one day and I cut this out and I posted it here, right? And what it says is this. It says, feed the hungry, clothe the naked, visit ones in need of care, give the homeless warmth and shelter. Christ will find a welcome there. Then it says, love and serve without distinction all of earth's people, first and least, knowing within each act of kindness, hope, and wholeness are increased. Hands that beacon little children, bind a wound, prepare a meal, feet that rush to share good tidings, Christ arise and still reveal. So I told myself, if this thing ever takes off for me,
that's what you want to do.
I owe it to God to do something for the world. Like I want to try to change the world in a good way. And if you go to our website at the Flightmate website and you read about us, like it talks about, people need food, people need water. And I want to build water treatment facilities in countries that don't have clean water. Because a lot of the times, like in poor countries, there's a river, but the same water that they, if you look at poor villages like where I'm from in Colombia, a lot of poor places, and in Brazil, for example, they have these big tanks on the roofs and they collect the rainwater, and that's what they use. So if there's a drought, they have to use the water for the river. But the problem with that water is that that's where the feces and the urine goes. So they're using dirty water. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lack of infrastructure and investment from corrupt government. So I thought, if I can replicate what Elon Musk or like Mark Zuckerberg have done, and I can become one of these guys, I owe it to the universe and to God to do something for these people, And then I made a pact with God. I said, if it ever happens, if I'm ever in that place and I don't do it, I hope I burn in hell, because I would deserve so,
Okay.
So that's the kind of pact I made with God. If this thing ever takes off, it's my duty to the world to change, to try to be a better, to try to do something good for the world.
Well, that's great. That's great. And I like that you got your scripture reference and all of that kind of stuff. So now we're going to kind of switch up a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think
people don't want to listen to that.
I think they know you now. And I want to let people know that I will, unfortunately, I know that a lot of you all here and you're new. I will delete you for disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this isn't that over here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a live and open chat so that everybody can talk freely. But when I have a guest in my house, right, and on my channel, I will delete and block you for disrespect. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to ask you something, and I need you not to give me something, Juan, that is filtered, that is thought about. I really want the truth.
Okay.
Why did you do Married at First Sight? The truth.
The truth.
Real
I'm going to be honest with you. So, when I had gotten out of a 3-year relationship, probably 2 years before I went on Married at First Sight. And I thought, what an interesting approach. Listen, I think anything you do, like for example, with the app, I knew going in, it's not being a pessimistic, it's just being realistic. I knew going in with the app that there was a good chance that I was going to lose $200,000. And at this point, the app doesn't generate any revenue. I don't want to sit here and blow smoke. The app does nothing,
It'll take a while.
Yeah, the only revenue the app generates is when I buy my flights for my business. All my business trips, I book it on my app. So I get like reimbursed, not just a small commission. But at the end of the day, when you do anything in life, there's a chance of risk and there's a chance of reward. So I understood that, but I thought, if we go on this show and these experts match me, that would be freaking awesome. At the time I was 35. I had, after my relationship, I had gone through therapy, a lot of therapy, because I with my last relationship before the show, I started couples therapy with my ex because I really wanted things to work between her and I. We didn't see eye to eye, and as you guys could tell from the show, I had abandonment issues, and that's one of the things I uncovered from being in therapy. One of the things that Glenn, my therapist, was able to uncover is, like, we all have triggers, right? And whenever you like get triggered in real life, like, we're completely normal operating adults. So whenever you get angry, or whenever you have like a situation where you just come out of your skin or go unhinged, it's not your adult self, it's your inner child.
Right.
It's your 7-year-old self.
Right.
I had such a really weird, childhood, with my parents having to leave, and then us being with with my aunt, then moving over here with my grandmother.
Yeah.
And when that attempted kidnapping happened when I was little, people think like, oh, well, you can't even remember that. Yeah, but at the same time, I was so young. What happened was that they had to send me to my aunt's house to live with her.
Yes, the cause and effect, whether or not you remember it or not.
So,
right?
So here's the deal: when I turned a year old, they tried to bring me back, and I went crazy, because I was like, what's going on here? They're taking me from my mom, because all of a sudden, at 1 year old, I thought my mom was my aunt. So this thing just screwed me up, and anyways, with her and in my past relationships, I've been a good boyfriend. Like the other day, one of my ex-girlfriends reached out to me, and she sent me like a text of something that somebody on Reddit said, and I took the opportunity to apologize to her, and I said, I just want to apologize to you. Like, if I ever was mistreated you or verbally abused you, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't never mean it. Like, I did therapy, and I've been able to like really work on myself and work on my reactions and work on my triggers, So, and I say all this to say that, look, like, I worked really hard on myself, and I think the version that you guys saw of me, I was very proud of, because I wasn't triggered. And as you could tell, whenever people go on a show like this, the way that you're matched, sometimes you're matched with your triggers, and it's very easy to go unhinged. And I went on the show because I thought I was ready for. I didn't think I was ready. I am ready. Like right now with the person that I'm with, I've made a full commitment. Like, I'm with her and I want to be with her. And we're looking at the future. So when I made this, I went in there as hopeful as everybody else.
So you really wanted companionship.
I really wanted to match. I really wanted to do it for the right reasons. I mean, at the same time, I'll be honest with you. At the same time, though, I think anyone that is willing to go into the public space like that and open up their lives for the entire world to see, you're also open to any doors that it may open,
So that's what a lot of people believe, Juan. I want to address that. A lot of people believe, even in the chat, that you went on there to promote yourself, your business. Any of that? Did you have 10% of yourself that thought, I'm going to do this because I'll have eyes on me and I can promote myself? Was it any part of you, Juan, that had that in the back of your mind?
I'll be honest with everybody. I mean, I think it was 50-50. I thought, okay, well, if it works out.
Well, thank you for being honest, because I was going
to be honest. If it works out, I'll walk away with a wife, and I'll walk away with a chance to, like, have the things that I'm working on get known. At the same time, though, I tried to never mention the app by name. And you gotta.
I haven't either. Neither one of us has said what the name of the app is. So we're not advertising the app here.
Because I knew that if I started like talking about the name and everything, then people were like, oh, this guy's obviously doing this for his app,
Yeah.
So I try to be very cognizant, but at the same time, like, you got to think about it. they're following our lives. So if you met me in the real world without the cameras around and you ask me what I did for a living, that's what I'm going to tell you. So like in this situation, my match and I are trying to get to know each other. And she's asking me, what do I do? Well, I have the millwork thing. I also have a regular job. And then I have this app thing that was kind of like an adventure, you know, and that's it. You know, that's the truth. I mean, I think, you know, all of us, you know, listen, hindsight 2020, if I wouldn't have had anything going on, people would have been like, oh, this guy's a bomb. This guy has nothing going on, you know? So it's like, listen, I think when you go on one of these shows, you lose because you lose. You can't win, you know? You have,
Right.
it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you're going to get judged regardless. So that's
So
just,
you went on there. So 50% of your motivation was to, number one, to try to meet someone. If
yes,
you
absolutely.
didn't,
Then
hell,
it was,
you're
yeah.
going to be advertising yourself. And that was one of the reasons why I questioned the use of the warehouse,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I
Well,
questioned that.
yeah, production was always asking us to shoot in there.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
they
you
were always
cleared
like,
that
hey,
up for me then.
can we
Okay.
use your warehouse? I was like, sure, we can use the warehouse. I don't care.
Okay. Well, then you cleared that up for me.
Yeah,
I appreciate you being honest. We're going to be telling the truth. Okay. That's what
yeah,
we're here to do.
yeah,
Um, so you did it for that. And so when you met Karla,
yeah.
you met your wife,
Hmm.
what part of the 50% was open to marrying Karla?
So listen, when I met her at the altar,
At the
um,
altar.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I look at her and I see, okay, well, she's cute, she's got a cute face, um, but she wasn't my type. That's not the girl I usually go for. But at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to put that to the side because I want to get to know her as a person. Because here's the thing, like I have depth, as you can tell, like I feel like I don't know, maybe people disagree, but I feel like I'm pretty intellectual. Um, I've studied a lot. I've read. I've worked very hard for everything that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I try to conduct myself in an articulate manner,
I
and
agree.
I try to have conversations that are meaningful. And I try to like I don't watch any TV because I always try to do things that are productive to my mind. I like listening to podcasts. So it wasn't one dimensional, and that's what people need to understand is that my approach to this was not one dimensional. It wasn't just about like, all right, if I see the person across the aisle and I'm attracted to them, because listen, I've dated someone who her and I have a great relationship now. This girl that I dated when I was in Miami, and she is probably one of the most beautiful women in the world. She was in the front cover of Playboy. I mean, she is exceptionally beautiful. But at the time, we were both very young. She was 18. She was like 19. I was like 23, and unfortunately at that time, she was in a place where she wasn't ready for she wasn't a woman yet, so uh, we just didn't see eye to eye. We didn't have good living arrangements because I was, sometimes when you're a model, sometimes one of you works, the other one doesn't. So when she would go to work, I would be cleaning and I would make breakfast for her, but then and she would come back and everything was nice. But when I would go to work, she would just kind of lay around, and we butted heads in that way. But then now, like we caught up like maybe like last year, or can't remember. But now she's a woman. Now she's doing her business, and she told me, she was like, yeah, I've changed so much, like between the time you and I dated. So for me, I was looking for, and it's not a checkbox. It's that we all have standards, And,
I think Juan. I think you checked the box with Karla, and
okay,
I do,
yeah,
right, and I believe you checked the box with her, um, because I didn't see an initial spark in either one of you,
yeah,
right? As it there was no attraction, no
yeah,
initial attraction, but I was curious about that. and we're going to talk about that, right? So we're gonna move a little faster.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
So so it was no initial attraction? Oh, do we agree on that?
I think there was no initial attraction. Yes.
There was no initial attraction. That
But I
was
was
the
clear about that. I was clear. I was pretty clear about, once we got back from the honeymoon, and Dr. Pia was asking us like, what's going on here, and I said, look, like, I just don't feel that physical attraction. I said it during the show.
But Juan, here's why I'm curious about it. Can I show you something?
You got it. Yeah, you can show me whatever you'd
It's
like.
going to come up on the screen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is your girlfriend.
Yes.
Is that not Karla?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when I look at her from a perspective, I'm a standing. Don't be laughing.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
standing
no.
on the outside and I'm looking in.
Yeah, yeah.
I had the opportunity to say hi to her. Make sure you tell her I said hi.
Yeah, yeah.
This looks like Karla as far as the
Okay.
physique. Now she's
Yeah.
a little bit more bustier.
Well, she does have obviously she has breast implants, but
Okay,
but
but
for me,
is this not Karla?
I just don't see it. And
So
then
what's
here's the
the
thing.
difference? Help us understand what the difference is, and I'm gonna say
So
something
so
else.
so here's the deal. Like, I just hate going this route because when you see my girlfriend now, the
She's
things that I
beautiful.
like the most about her are not even physical.
But Juan, you made
Yeah.
a comment and said that
No, I
that
know, I know. But what I'm saying though, for me, the body type that Karla is just, and I hate to say this because I don't want to
you
sound like
don't have to say
shallow.
anything to demean a
Yeah,
woman.
no, but the bot, like, I just like more athletically built women, and if you looked at
Okay,
my girlfriend's like legs and that, like, Carla's very slender, which is fine. Some men love slender
yeah,
women.
she's
I just have
beautiful.
never been attracted to very skinny women. And a lot of men like, for example, I had a conversation with another cast member. I'm not going to say any names because obviously, like, they, I don't want to,
Hmm.
I don't want to throw them under the bus. And it wasn't even throwing them under the bus, but this person was like, I love Carla's physique because, and I'm not saying that I don't like Carla's physique. It's just not my preference.
I
Like,
think that
I've
you came
always,
off that way though, and so that's why we're here to clear
yeah,
all of those
yeah, no. And I've
misconceptions.
always I like very thick women in the legs, and
Okay,
and that's
you
one of
don't
the
like
things.
them like me because I'm thick as a snicker. So you don't like them.
I like
You don't
athletic
like them like me. You like them that
women. Yeah,
half of some of what I have is some of what I have. But
yeah.
here's another thing that I want to bring up on.
Mhm.
So it came up recently in an interview, right? It's
Yeah.
rumored, okay,
Okay.
that your girlfriend is an esthetician. She does eyelashes,
Hmm.
and Karla is a
Yeah.
beautician. They're in the same,
Yeah.
same thing. And it's been rumored that she does tarot, which is something that
No,
you
no,
did that you were. So can you
no,
clear that rumor? So
no.
does she
Yeah,
flip?
no. My girlfriend is far from tarot card reader.
Okay, so she is not flipping
Oh
cards.
no,
She's not
not at
rubbing
all.
a crystal ball. She's
Yeah,
not.
no. And in fact,
Mm,
I think we're both more spiritually aligned. I mean, 110%. We kind of
okay.
go in the same direction in that regard. And she is an esthetician. And listen, I don't have a problem with. I know
You didn't
estheticians.
have a problem with your ex-wife's profession.
No, not at all. I mean, listen, there's a girl that I know from back in my hometown, which is a little tiny town, and she does like $200,000 cutting hair.
Okay, I
Yeah,
just wanted to clear up
yeah.
on what
I
was
have
the
no
difference
problem with
between
that.
them. Because
No,
when
not
we
at
look,
all.
okay, so when we look and we listen,
Yeah,
and that's why we're here to clear it up because
absolutely.
it
Yeah,
sounds like you were saying physically she is not. We've already established that there was no initial attraction. I
no,
knew
no.
it, right? Because I
Mhm.
mean, I'm
Yeah,
almost 100, so I knew it was
yeah,
no physical attraction there. But you all stayed in it,
yeah.
and I think that what I gathered was you was trying to find something else that could connect you but the further you went on with the Zen and the sound bowls and all of that,
Yeah.
then that's what really turned you off.
Well, I wouldn't say that it turned me off. I just think that I thought, okay, well, initially I'm not, attracted to her, but let's see
Okay.
if we can build an attraction, because there are situations where someone just shows you like so many different depths and so many different angles that you think, okay, well, you start to fall in love with the person they are. And again, like, look,
Okay.
I'm not here to say that there's anything wrong with Karla. I think
Thank
Karla is a great person. I think that,
you.
we've had obviously we've went through some rocky things. But I want people to understand that I'm not trying to trash Karla. Whenever,
Okay.
like the only question you asked me yesterday was if I regret saying what I said on that
Oh, we're
YouTube.
going to get to that.
But my point is that I don't regret it. Why? Because if you would have asked me the question today of,
Okay.
of why it didn't work out with Karla, I would have said those same reasons. And
Okay.
those reasons, every single thing I said on there, I said on the show. It was
You
all, it was
did. Now,
everything.
now, you did say some things on the show, right? But it's a matter of context, right? And
Mhm.
so you said it on the show, but you want us to go back and do our homework. And me, myself, I'm a content
Yeah.
creator, so I am going to go back and do that
Yeah.
that homework. One of the things that I wanted to bring up and I wanted to discuss with you,
Mhm.
as I observed the season, I think that one of the very telltale signs that you and Karla was staying on the show. Here's what I believe, that you all had an agreement.
No, we
That,
didn't have an agreement.
okay, so clear
Never.
that up. There was
No,
no
never.
agreement
There
between
was
you and
no
Karla.
agreement. No, no. And listen, regardless of the situation that's happened, like, I want people to understand that I'm not angry at, anything. Like, if anyone ever, including Karla or anybody, wants to go online and talk shit about me and trash me or whatever, or disagree with me, I'm totally fine with that. I'm fine. Like, I'll even be able to like answer questions. Like, usually if people
Yeah,
send me,
you've
yeah,
been very honest and
listen,
very transparent.
I don't mind answering questions, and I don't mind interacting with people that hate me, which is crazy because I don't hate Karla. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think
I
after
don't think so.
after what happened, I think it's going to be hard for me to ever even like consider having a friendship with her. Um,
Yeah, because the trust has been broken.
well, here's the thing: are you married?
Absolutely not.
Well, have you ever been married?
Absolutely not.
No, and have you ever? But you've had relationships, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And in your relationships, have you had in situations where you and that person share intimate and private things?
Yes.
So we're in a place where when you get married with someone, naturally you're going to have intimate moments and you're going to have private moments. Like Karla and I, not just like during that situation that they're referring to, like, but other situations where we were in the room, that things happen and we had conversations, and in my view, some things, just no matter how angry you are at
Yeah,
someone, just
they
don't do
stay
that.
right.
Especially when in
Mhm.
this situation it was like we talked about it in front of production. Like, we agreed that we were gonna respect the privacy. So for me, it's more about, look, I was on this show, but at the end of the day, I'm a human being, and I
Absolutely.
deserve my privacy. That's all it's about. If they want to trash me, that's fine. Now, as far as what I said on that YouTube response, it's the things that I've said throughout the entire season. Like when Karla, let's say when Karla quit her job, she came back and she told me, "Hey, I quit my job." And then she said it was a mutual agreement. And then she said, "I can't be managed." This was on TV. I literally watched this over to make sure and then I was like, and then I was started backing up. Oh shit. Like that, that's so, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, when you go on one of these shows, you make decisions and you make the decisions that you make, and you know, just like she can call out people and for their flaws, like, she did it with Madison, she did it with David. She can do it with me if she'd like. That's totally fine. But then at the end of the day, I should be able to say, okay, well, like, those were some of the things that were deal breakers for me, because I come from a home where my father always told me, don't ever leave a job without having another job. And I
Yeah.
get it. She does hair. I understand that. But
But
for
she
the
said that she had told you that one prior
no, she
to.
didn't tell me that. She didn't tell me that.
So that was just a bald-faced lie.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a lie, because
You think that maybe she mistakenly thought that she told you?
maybe she told me and I wasn't paying attention. So I can't, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like I remember at that time, that's when I found out, and I wasn't there to like chastise her or, but I wasn't, I didn't, I think if you go back and watch that episode, I wasn't like thrilled,
Yeah, you
and then,
weren't.
yeah, I
But you
wasn't, I
weren't
wasn't
thrilled a
thrilled.
long time. But here's what
Yeah.
I want to, we're going to come back to that. But here's what I want to ask you. And this is where I really started seeing a really big difference between the two of you all. I thought that it was forced. So you and Karla had an opportunity to talk or write a letter to your younger self.
Mhm.
And, Karla wrote this, what I would call very high level letter to herself. Wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't a lot of substance. But you took us all the way through your past. You took us through, your birth, your father, being separated from your family and everything. At the end of that, the overwhelming response here on my channel, I don't know about anybody else's,
Yeah.
but here on my channel, the overwhelming response was, Karla seems to be this Zen type of person. And I'm just talking about the incident. She seems to be Zen and caring, and I'm that girl. However, she had an opportunity to come and wrap her arms around you when you had walked away. When
Yeah.
you walked away, she had an opportunity to do that, and she did not take it. How did you feel in that moment? Did you feel unheard? Did you feel like you were just doing this for production? Did you feel like, how did you feel in that moment? And how did that affect the way that you interacted with Karla?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think I don't want to play down anybody's past because, we just had different experiences. And I feel, for Karla, I think having her parents probably have a more similar childhood to me because they were the first ones that came over from Mexico, from what I
Okay,
understood.
okay, okay.
So they probably did a really good job of insulating Karla from any kind of that type of like trauma that a lot of like first time immigrants have to live like myself by coming over to this country. um, I don't really feel like it was I don't know, man. I thought it was such a beautiful exercise that Dr. Pepper gave us, and for me it was like turning the page. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've cried watching that episode just because I had a lot of childhood trauma, from abandonment issues and all that therapy helped me uncover that trauma, and that exercise kind of like finally closed the loop. You know what I'm saying? And
But did you, but as it related to her, how
I don't
did you
think it
feel when you
I don't
walked
think it
away?
really I don't think it moved the needle either way, but it was a good moment. I mean, I feel like Carlo was there for me in that moment.
I
I
felt
wouldn't
like,
say yeah, I
mhm.
would say that it was it's tough to when somebody's so emotional and they're going through a moment like that, it's tough to know what to do. It's like when it's like when you're not a doctor and you see somebody having like a heart attack, like what do you do? You know? Like it's so hard to react to something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to judge her based on her reaction to that. I think she did the best that she could in the moment.
Okay, well, thank you for clearing that up because, as I said, that was an overwhelming.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
we had an overwhelming response of people that felt like that was a missed opportunity for her.
Yeah.
And I just said, my position on it was sometimes you need to let a person
Yeah,
just
yeah.
go and process
I
instead
agree.
of
I think that's
running
it.
over and putting your. So I just was wondering,
Mhm.
how you felt
That's
about that.
that's the way that that's the way that I looked at it. I looked at it as like, she's just probably giving me my space.
Okay. Now, Carla has also mentioned in an interview that you didn't even buy her gifts on a honeymoon. You didn't. Everybody was buying their girls massages and this, that, and the other. Like Juan, like why wouldn't you just buy
Yeah.
a massage, a pedicure, a manicure? Like what's going on? You suave.
So here's the deal. I've known this person for like 3 days at that point. You know what I mean? So for me, it was like, well, why am I doing all this? Why am I like overproducing my experience on the show? If I want to be authentic to myself, I'm not going to do something that's outside of myself. In the real world, if I'm going on a third or fourth date with somebody, yeah, I married this person at first sight, but at the same time, like I'm just trying to figure out where we have common, and I'm not gonna lie, like Karla and I had a great time on the honeymoon. Like as far as I'm concerned, like we had some parties in the room where we were dancing and having fun. Like I had a good time with her on the honeymoon. Maybe she's has a different story now, but for me, I have fun. And I have fun with her. I'm not gonna
She
like
did not say that didn't have
no,
fun.
what I'm saying is that I had a lot of fun with her. Now I didn't do it because I'm not. That's wouldn't be true to me. Like how am I going to go spend $500 on somebody that I just met 4 days ago, and I'm just trying to get to know them to see where we have common ground. And as you can see, all these guys that did all this, you see how it turned out for most of them. So I mean, you know what I mean? Like it
So
was
do
all
they not
BS.
give y'all a budget or a stipend?
No, like David, and I think David and Alan were doing that out of their own pockets. And I'm just like, for example, with my girlfriend now, we've been together for over a year, and or right at a year. And we took, for her birthday, I took her for a sushi omakase. So it's like a sushi experience, and we probably spent like $450. Like okay, like I'll spend $400 or $500 on a dinner for someone that I'm fully invested into, and I know that it's worth it. But I just met her like 4 days ago. Like it's for me, it's kind of silly,
Yeah. Juan, when did the show stop taping?
I think like November 2023.
And your current girlfriend, you were in a relationship 30 days, a month after filming.
So I'll tell you how it happened.
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
There is let me
Yeah. Go ahead. Drop it.
there
Drop
is
it.
a rumor. It has been rumored
There's so many rumors.
that you were dating her prior to the show.
Yeah.
Almost like kind of like Alan. Well,
Yeah.
let's clear that up.
Yeah, so I want to clear this up. I did meet, just like Alan, I met this person before the show, right? So what you guys have to understand is that the chances of you getting on a reality TV show are 1 in 1,000. So if you take 1 and you divide it by 1,000, you know what you get? 0. It's like literally 0.00000. So there's a 0% chance of getting on one of these shows. So like you don't stop living your life just because you're casting for Married at First Sight. You keep living. So what happened was that that summer in July, I met this girl out at the Outer Banks in North Carolina, and we had a great time, right? So then after that, I was like, well, like you live in Brazil, let's try to see each other again, right? So then in August, they tell me that, and keep in mind, we had already done like however many castings. We started casting in April. I mean,
Okay.
that's why whenever you guys saw when Dr. Pepper told me I was going to be on the show, and I was like, huh? You remember that? Like, I was like, not even surprised. It was because I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought it was just another casting of another casting, And what's funny is I signed up for the Chicago Triathlon that year, and I kept telling them, I'm like, look, you got to tell me if I'm getting married or not at this point, because what do I do here? Am I doing the triathlon and am I not doing the triathlon? And then finally they told me I was getting married, and it was like 2 weeks later, you're getting married, So then at that point, I called this girl, and here's the thing. Her and I was single as hell whenever this show happened. And this is the same conversation I had with her because she was upset with me. And I was like, listen, I was like, this is me. This is us talking and having a conversation now.
Okay.
Like my girlfriend and I recently had a conversation about this.
Okay.
And she was like, I was upset with you back then. And I was like, well, you were living in Brazil. I didn't know I had just met you. I didn't know your family. For all I knew, you had a husband and you were just having an affair with me. I didn't know. And she never told me that she felt any type of way about me. We had only met one time.
Okay.
So then I'm like, look, I'm getting married. And then we stopped all interactions. What I do remember is what stayed in the back of my mind was that I could tell that even though she didn't tell me she was upset, like at that moment, I could tell she was upset because we weren't close enough to even, she was doing her thing in Brazil. I was here. And at that time I was like, I'll never do a long distance thing, So then when I started going into the marriage, and I never stepped outside of the marriage with Karla, at the probably like a week before decision day, I kind of knew already like what my decision was going to be. So I reached out to her and I said, look, like, I'm going to say no on decision day. And if you're still
So wait a minute.
yeah.
Pause. I'm a woman. I need you to clear that up. So you're in a relationship with Karla. You have 1 week out.
I have 1 week left.
Make the decision, and you still got this girl's number on speed dial?
Well, I reached out to her. I mean, we're still friends. And I said, like, I don't think this thing's going to work out. So, I'd love to see you in Brazil. I want to, so like literally like we went through the decision day. I mean, a week from decision day, there's really not much there that's going to change your mind. Like, I think both Karla was pretty adamant about saying no, she said no without even thinking. So I think, so I think we were both it was pretty obvious that we were both going to say no at that point, but during the, it's an 8-week experiment. I mean, like, and all I know about Karla is 8 weeks. So like, no matter what I say about Karla, that's my perception of the 8 weeks I spent with her. Whoever she is, exactly. What people need to understand is that I'm not judging Karla based on who she is now or who she was before, because I just met Karla for 8 weeks, and what she presented to me during those 8 weeks was not interesting to me, without disrespect to her and her whole family. That's just my perspective, and that's it. That's nothing else. She may be killing it right now, and I hope she is. Like, I think what people don't understand is that this is not a competition for me anyways. I don't care about the followers. If people want to unfollow me, you're more than welcome to. I have a really great life. Look, I have a great family.
Yeah, but we don't have to go there with them.
No, but what I'm saying is
we don't have to go there.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is that I want people to understand that this isn't a competition with Karla. Like,
and we don't want it to be.
Yeah, I want people to follow Karla, and I want people to be a fan of Karla's, But then I also have.
And we are a fan of Karla.
There you go. Girl. And it's great, and I love that.
Fan of you too.
And I love that. But I want people to understand that what I want is to be able to speak the truth about how I feel about my experience. That's it, without having to fear, something of my privacy being disclosed. I mean, that's the only thing that bothers me about the whole situation.
Okay, so now you've gone on to a different subject, and you're talking about the allegations that that you made these allegations. And I wasn't going to even talk about that, but since you went there, let's do it. You made some allegations that Karla's family was allegedly blackmailing you or attempting to extort money from you, or
no. So here's the thing. The thing that people
explain all of that. Okay.
So people need to understand that extortion and blackmailing doesn't mean that it's money. You see what I'm saying? Because what's the most valuable asset that you have?
My privacy.
Not only that, but your word. It's our First Amendment right in the Constitution, is our freedom of speech, right? Yeah. So that's the most valuable thing that we have. Like, if you strip away everything that you have, all your physical possessions, the only thing you're left is your word. That's it. So, for a group of people, which again, I'm not gonna hold a grudge for this. Like, I get it. They were hurt. They read things that were true, that happened on TV. It literally was all filmed and it's all on TV. I get it. It hurts to read that, but that's my experience. you
So
know?
you're indicating, so you're alleging that they don't want you to talk poorly. This is what I understand
Yeah.
from listening to your video, that they don't want you to talk poorly about Karla. And your perspective is, I talk poorly about Karla, or I made these I said these things during the show. So it's no different.
Listen, I was just nice about it during the show, you
Well,
know? But
that's not nice.
no, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not the kind of person I am, you know?
Okay, I didn't
But,
think you would, but okay.
but listen, you know, I mean, the whole thing with the oven, that literally was aired, you know, it was an episode that was aired, you know, where she couldn't function the gas oven. And it took me by surprise. I was really surprised that, and again, I'm not trying to trash her. That was just, it happened on the show and it was filmed. And those were some of the little things that made it for me. Now, you know, I didn't watch the interview with Karla.
I watched snippets of
Yeah,
it.
and there was one thing where she's saying that I lied to everybody at the church at the
Yeah, she said
ceremony.
that she said, wait a
Yeah,
minute, I wrote it
yeah.
down. She said that you lied to her on the wedding day,
Uh-huh.
and about, there was something about your personal life,
Yeah,
and that
absolutely.
production told her, because it happened to be something that you had done prior to the wedding. So there appears to be three things on your end, three things that turned you off that you don't want to talk about. But Karla is indicating that production made you confess to something. A lot of people are making allegations that
Yeah.
it's a child involved. I don't
No,
know.
no, no, there's no child involved. I think, you
Okay,
know,
thank you for clearing that
I'm
up.
not, yeah, I'm not going to
So,
talk about
Juan,
it.
was this true? Okay, so you don't
So
have to talk about what
here's
it
the
was,
thing.
but is it true?
So here's the thing. What did Carla say on decision day about our relationship? Do you remember?
Hell if I know. I don't
She said
remember.
it was the best relationship she's ever had.
She
That's what she
did.
said on
And you
decision day.
said it on the
So,
last episode.
so I said it?
No, that wasn't you. That was
No, I didn't
David.
say
Oh,
that.
yeah, that was David.
So,
Okay.
so here's the deal. So how do you go from this being the best relationship you've ever had to me being a liar? Listen, listen,
You can still be
Auntie,
a liar and still
Auntie,
be in the best relationship.
Auntie, nobody made us do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're grown adults, and we were presented with information, and we both made the decision to get married at first sight and continue with it. Because the
So,
next
Juan,
day,
did this happen? Let's put it in context. Did this conference, first of all, let's just confirm or
Mhm.
deny. Did the conversation that Karla has mentioned happen?
It did.
Did production,
It did.
okay. Was that
Production didn't force
before or
us to do
after the
anything.
wedding? Was that
I,
before?
this was after the ceremony, the next day on our way to the civil court, and we had a conversation, you know, and we had decided that we would never talk about it again, you
And she
know,
hasn't. And she
and
hasn't.
and I applaud her for that, and I thank her for keeping that word. But what
Mhm.
really upset me and triggered me, because I'm not a very easily triggered person, I think, I don't know, maybe other
No,
people
you're
feel
not.
different. But what really triggered me is that when seeing the comment that her sister wrote, you know, they could have went anywhere. Like for example, if Carla would have said, "Listen, my experience with Juan is that maybe he's gay because he never made a sexual advance toward me." That's a fair statement. I never did. I never made a sexual advance toward her. So that's something that she could say. And then I could say, listen, it's not true. You know, but when you touch a subject that we both agreed to never talk about again, we both agreed to it. We literally both agreed to it, and we moved forward conscientiously knowing that it hurt. It really did, because I was like, look, you can go in on me about anything. You could, yeah, I have a bald spot. I'm 38 years old, damn it. Like most men beyond 40, like 50 to 60 or 70% are bald. Like, what the fuck, man? Who cares? You know, but you could talk about it. That was her experience. She saw my bald spot probably every day, you know? So, I mean,
So you all had this conversation at the courthouse because, as I understand it, you all
Yeah.
the ceremony is just fluff.
And listen,
You
at
all
that
go
point,
that Monday. You go down to the justice of the peace or to the courthouse. You
yeah,
get married at the courthouse, and then you all fly out to your honeymoon. So
yeah.
you and both Karla made a decision, but one, I must say, she hasn't said whatever it is. So
That's
I'm
good.
asking you a
I'm glad.
question. So was the threat of blackmail, was that a perceived threat, one, or did an actual threat actually happen?
Listen,
Because it seems like
they knew what they were doing. That's what I'll
no,
say.
it seems
They
like
knew
you
what they were
perceived
doing.
it, but there wasn't a real threat.
Well, when you listen, I'll say this.
Okay.
There's our my lawyer is in conversations with the network right now, and I'm not looking to file a lawsuit. So please, guys, I repeat, nobody's filing lawsuits here. I just want to make sure nobody's going to
Okay.
sue anybody. But I just want to make sure that, like, look, like that I have a protection of my privacy. That's all I want to make sure. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only reason that I got my lawyer involved, and just because I want to be protected, just like you have the right to be protected of your privacy and anybody else. I mean, you guys got to remember that I am a human being, and we all have a past, and we all have,
Absolutely.
we all have intimate things about us. I mean, look, there's couples that have sex tapes together, and I think it's a responsibility of both parties to protect something like that.
I
If
understand, but I wanted to, but here's the thing: when you came out, because I did a video on, I did a video response,
yeah,
and when you came out, it came out, and it appeared that there was a threat. But now what I'm hearing, it was perceived, and so
it's yeah.
in order to quash it or to stop it, you went to a lawyer because you wanted to get ahead of it coming out. Is
Well,
that
no,
what it is?
it's because I felt threatened.
Yeah.
That
Okay. So
if I say
it wasn't blackmail.
yeah,
It
I
was just
felt
a threat of blackmail.
yes, I felt threatened that if I say anything that's out of the box of what they consider acceptable, that all of a sudden, like, well, things are going to be said about me, and I'm not
But
here to
Juan,
spread.
what could be so bad? What could
It,
be so bad
listen,
that you
it could be anything, but what people have to understand is that it's my privacy, and that's what it comes down to. Is that
so you're doing this on principle.
yes, it's the
Okay.
principle that
Okay.
it's my
No,
privacy, and
I'm
it's
not, no
yeah,
judgment.
no, yeah, Auntie, I'm not taking
Don't
judgment. I'm just trying to.
be
I just want to explain myself as like
okay.
it's the principle of like, hey, look, man, like I get it. What it may have sounded bad what I wrote, and I always try to stay within the guidelines of what I experienced on the show and what
Yeah.
people viewed, and I never went outside of that. I've
Yeah.
never went outside of. I would never say anything personal about Karla or things that I experienced with Karla behind closed doors that wasn't aired. It's never gonna. You guys are never gonna hear it. Period. It's never gonna happen. Nobody's
Oh,
ever gonna hear it because that's just not the type of person I am.
okay.
You know?
Okay. I just wanted to be sure because
Yeah.
as I began to start doing my research, and let me tell you, of course, I'm
Yeah.
an older woman. And as I begin to, you react. So when I first heard it, I reacted. What the,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm ready to go off. But then as
Yeah.
I begin to settle back and look, I said, this was a perception.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
There was
maybe. I mean,
nothing
I'll
that
tell you
happened.
this.
But the way that you,
Yeah,
and that was why I asked you the
yeah,
question. I
yeah.
did ask you
And
one
I'll
question.
tell you this. I'll tell you
Why did
this.
you respond to the YouTuber? Why did you come out and do those videos? Because people
So
are going
here's
to
the
make a
deal.
decision
The,
one way or the other.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's
The reason I responded to the YouTubers is I saw no threat in the response. And
go. Okay.
then I'm glad I responded to the YouTuber because if I would have not responded to the YouTuber, you would have asked me this question, and then this would have aired, and I would have said all the reasons why it didn't work for me. Then we would be in this again. Like I would be going through this like now. So I'm just glad I went through it last week and the week before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was going to happen at some point. So we just got it over with. Now, as far as my response, there was a page. There was like a page that came on, and and people say all kinds of crazy stuff on my page, and
You
they
do.
send me all kinds of crazy DMs. A lot of mostly is good. I'm not gonna lie, like 90 to 95% of it is good. But I saw this page and made a shitty comment on the picture I posted with my girlfriend, and I wouldn't have thought anything about it. But then I go, and yes, it was an assumption. I made an assumption. I'll own up to that. But then I go and read the bio, and I literally read it out loud, like Karla was saying it, and I was like, why? I was like, what is going on here? And that was triggering for me. I was like, because this is crazy. Like, fine, man. Like, doesn't have to go to this way. But I did make an assumption. I can't prove that page was Karla. I don't know.
And
But I'm
that's
not.
why one you gotta you gotta stand down because you are a public figure and
No,
you
I
have a
know.
responsibility.
Again,
Okay.
again,
And I'm not
that was.
chastising you.
So
I'm
here's the
just
deal.
telling you.
So
You
that
have
was
a
a knee. Yeah,
responsibility, Juan,
that
to
was a
be
knee jerk.
accurate.
That was a knee jerk reaction.
That
I'm
got
not gonna lie.
thousands of views.
Yeah, I know. And then I took it down and I put up a better, what I thought was a more articulate video of the way that I feel, and just trying to like give some clarity. Some people might like it, some people may not. But again, it's my platform, and I can post whatever I want.
You want.
Yeah. I mean,
You can
it's
say
funny.
what you want.
What's funny is like when people leave shitty comments, I delete them. But I'm like, it's my house. If you shit on the floor, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the poop
Right.
out. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to put up with your crappy comments. Like
Right.
go put those on Reddit somewhere.
But I think that my whole thing is when you go out and you do that, right? It's what I call backpedaling and pussy popping. You've got to come back and fix it. But I don't think you ever fixed it. I don't think you ever apologized to Karla, or I think that a lot of times
What did I do wrong?
because it wasn't blackmail, it was perceived. It wasn't what we were all led to believe by listening to you.
No, during that first video, yeah. I mean, but again, they're playing around with,
Semantic.
they're tiptoeing very close, and it's almost like an implied threat that if I don't say what they want to hear, then information about me is going to be released, which is very upsetting to me.
Okay.
It feels like I'm being extorted almost, like
Well, that's what I was asking you because that's
that's what I feel. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. Imagine, put yourself in my shoes, and you just had this experience. You've been quiet for over a year because you can't speak about anything until the end of the show. And now people have questions. So I want to try to answer them, without going outside of the.
But what does it? But here's the thing: you deal with the internal threat, right? You have an internal threat that you perceive, right?
Yeah.
And your perception is your reality. We can't judge you on that.
No, absolutely.
But when
Absolutely.
you bring it to us and you dump it out on us, then it grows legs.
No,
And
I get
it's
it. But
almost like playing a game of telephone, right? You really
no, I
don't
get it. I get it. Yeah.
So, which is why I was asking. You said that you thought that saying something to the YouTuber benefited you. I didn't
Well,
see
I
it.
never said that. I never said that. I never said it
Okay,
benefited
okay.
me.
So let's clear that up.
Yeah,
Did you think
yeah.
that benefited
No,
you?
no. I was just like, listen, like I want to clear it up. Like they were saying that I robbed Karla of the
You
experience.
didn't rob Karla.
Yeah, I
You
didn't
didn't
rob
rob
her.
her of nothing.
Yeah, and she didn't rob me of anything either. We tried our best.
And
That's
neither, and you know who else said that? MM said that she felt like a catchy, icky, yicky, ya, ya, ya. That's who I call him.
Yeah,
She felt like he robbed her. He never robbed her because once you agree mutually to go through this, it is an experiment.
it's an
And
experiment.
whatever you experience is your experience. So
There you
nobody's
go. There
robbed
you
of
go.
anything.
Yeah. So
No.
like I'm the type of person that,
Yeah.
if people have questions, and if people like, I'm totally open to having a conversation about it. I'm open to, the opposing views. Like I get it. I get it from your perspective, the way that you're looking at it. So all I can do is explain to you how it made me feel,
Well,
and
you've been very transparent. I want to say this. You've been very transparent. You've been very honest, and you take accountability with
listen,
me.
So here's
And,
here's
and,
what,
I, and
here's
I
what
appreciate that because the average person would have clicked off this interview by
so here's what
so
here's
you
what
could
I'll say.
do.
Here's what I'll say too is the one of the best experiences about being on this show is that I did read a lot of comments with people saying that, like, Juan isn't ready for marriage, and Juan, and I
The
think
average person
I
isn't
think
ready for marriage. That's why the divorce rate is so high. But anyway, I digress. Go on.
but here's the thing. I think that reading a lot of those things puts things into perspective, that and then also what Pastor Cal said during MM ceremony was like, look, you don't fall in love, you grow into love, and my relationship that I'm in right now, um, I care so much about her, and she does so many things. Like, I tell her every day, I'm like, I don't know how I did it before you were here. She helps me with everything. And we're just like a team. Like the other day I was working because I work so much. And then I heard the broom and I was like, oh shit, she's cleaning. So I was like, oh fuck, I better go help. So I went in the bathroom and I cleaned the bathroom and she was cleaning the floors. And that's how we do it. We're very cognizant of each other. And that's what I was looking for. Somebody that was willing to meet me in the middle, and somebody that had the same drive that I had, and we're both just really like rowing in the same direction. And that's what I was looking for. And nothing against Karla, I don't have, obviously my perception of her kind of changed a little bit, and I think mine of hers too, which is fine. But at the end of the day, like, I want her to be happy. We're never going to have that type of friendship or relationship again. Now, I do, I'm a man of my word. So she gave me the idea for the Juancho's Ponchos thing,
Yes, you did.
which English is my second language. I know my logo was all jacked up. I fixed it, by the way.
It's
But
fine.
anyways, Juancho's Ponchos is actually launching within this week, and
Did
all the
she give the cut?
huh?
Did she give
So here's how it's going to go. All the profits going to be split 50-50 with her and I. Regardless of our problems, I'm a man of my word. And 50% of my profits, guys. So there's going to be some products on the website. 50% of my profit share will be donated. So my plan is that
Wait
every
a
month,
minute, donated.
yeah,
I
I'm going to
thought that 50% was gonna go to Karla.
Oh, 50, so we're going to split it 50-50, right? So then my half, 50% of my half is going to be donated. You see what
Okay.
I'm saying? So
Okay.
like, she's going to get
And
her
to
half.
break Karla off, she came up
No,
with
no.
a wonderful
She can
idea
do,
and
listen,
make
she can do
sure
whatever she
girl get
wants.
her coins.
Yeah, she can do whatever she wants with that money. But 50% of my half, I'm actually going to donate it. So what I'm going to do every
Okay.
month, my followers can send me a DM, and they can request, like, they can just send me information about the nonprofit or organization that they would like for me to donate the money to, and I will select one every month at the end of every month, and whatever money is there, if it's $20, Karla will get 10, I'll get 10, and 5 will go to you know
Will
to
Karla be advertising? Will she with the
I
relation?
don't know if she will or not.
Okay.
I just just like with the flight mate thing, I think, like, God gave me this opportunity to have a
Yeah.
platform, and I don't want to just not do anything with it. I want to try to do something good with it. And this is the start of it. Hopefully Juancho's Ponchos will turn into, if we could do, if $5,000 in sales in the month, half of it will go to Karla, the other half for me, and then the other part of my half will go for a good cause, I hope. And then I
Yeah.
want to make sure that my followers get involved, and it's fun for them, because I want them to feel like they're a part of something too, that they're
Yeah.
not just following me for no reason. I feel like I want them to follow me for a good reason, and that's a good cause. I've always wanted to have a platform to be able to give back, and I think God put me in this position, and we're going to use it for a good cause.
Let me ask you a question. If you could clear up anything, a lot of people they just not gonna like you. That's life.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
But for those people who are on the fence, what is
Yeah.
the biggest misconception of about Juan?
Hmm.
And don't make it long and drawn out because we only got a few more minutes.
Yeah. I mean,
What is the biggest misconception for those people who are on the fence? Not sure if they like you,
Yeah.
not sure if they don't. What is it, Juan?
I mean, I think like that I'm self-centered, you know. I don't I don't think I'm self-centered, and I hope
Okay.
that, you know, I want to give back, and that's really, I just want people to be happy and smiling, and I want the best for the world, you know. And I'm gonna try, like I said, I'm gonna try to use this platform to give back.
Okay. Any last things you want to say? Anything you want to clear up? Here's the thing. I'm going to keep saying it. You say, and I think that is one of the things that I'm going to leave here a little bit confused about, and I just want you to clear it up. You said I don't have anything against Karla, or I'm not going. I don't want to say anything bad about Karla, but you are pursuing her legally.
I'm not
Correct.
pursuing her legally. I just want to make sure that
That
you
is
know,
litigation.
I'm not litigating against anyone.
Okay,
First
you
of
just
all,
want to
litigation is
see.
extremely expensive, but I
Oh,
just
I know.
yeah.
So are you doing a
I
cease and desist? Is that
no
what
no
you?
what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that you know, we both respect our,
But
you
when you
know.
consulted a lawyer, that's litigation. So it may
No,
be
no, no,
civil,
no.
maybe.
Suing litigation is not consulting a lawyer. You know, like litigation is going to court and taking somebody to court. And I'm not trying to take nobody to court. All I consulted a lawyer because I want to make sure that my rights are protected, that my privacy is protected. That's it. That's it. That's the only reason. I'm not
So
suing
you
nobody.
so
Nobody's suing
you're
nobody.
using it as what? As almost like I dare you to just cross
No,
this
not
line.
even. Not
So
even. No,
why
not
did
at
you
all.
mention that? I just want to know. I just want to clear it up,
Well,
Juan.
I
Why did
just
you mention it?
because the reason I mentioned it is because I want to make sure that you know, I'm not stepping outside of the line, and I want
Okay.
to make sure that they're being fair too. That's
Okay.
it. I'm not looking to litigate against anyone. You
But you
know,
will. Because we
it's
don't
you know.
consult lawyers. You don't
So here's the
spend
thing:
money.
litigation is extremely expensive and is
Oh yeah.
it's very risky. So, you know, one of the things you learn about being in business for so long is you don't go into litigation with anybody. If anything, you go into arbitration. You know, I don't know what Karla wants to do or her intentions are with telling everybody that I need to speak my truth because,
Yeah,
listen,
because you said that there were three things about Karla that you three reasons why you should not have stayed with Karla. Karla has challenged you on that. Do you
yeah.
think that you're going to meet that
No, I'm
challenge?
not going to meet that challenge.
Okay.
You know what? If Karla wanted to know the three things, I would tell her. If she wanted to reach out to me and ask me what those three things, because I've never said them to her. One of them, she probably knows what it is.
That's the smoking.
No, not it's not
She
even that.
mentioned in the interview that she smokes.
Yeah, she smokes every
Well, we
day.
know she was.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
She was
which
when
yeah,
y'all was at that house and you were playing the guitar and Karla was.
yeah.
I said, "There's no way in the
Yeah.
world.
I mean,
That's not
she said it.
true."
She said it. I would have never mentioned that about her because that's her personal business. I don't.
Yeah, but
Who
we
wants to
knew. I
smoke?
mean,
Yeah, yeah.
it is what
But
it
I
is.
would have never mentioned that about her.
She's
She
not
did that.
doing anything illegal, right?
No, no, not in Chicago. She's not doing anything
Why
illegal.
nobody mad at Karla? We loved
Yeah.
Karla.
Now here's the
Like
thing. Here's
we
the thing.
love Karla.
Here's the thing. Like, I don't particularly want to be with somebody that smokes every day either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never smoked in my life, but I'm just not that kind of guy. That's not what I'm looking for. You know. But I never would mention that, and I never have mentioned that just because that's her
Yeah,
thing.
that's her.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge her on that. That's whatever she wants to do is her thing. Um, but no, I mean, I'm not looking to litigate against nobody. I just want this to be crushed and over with and gone and be done with. You know, like, let's move on. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure that they know that, like, listen, have a little respect for my privacy is all. You know, like, I've
Absolutely.
never mentioned
I agree.
anything outside of the guardrails of what everybody saw on TV.
I
That's it.
agree.
You know?
But let me ask you a little question.
Yeah.
When that stuff was going down between Madison and David and Karla, the phone got mysteriously lost and all of that. Did
Yeah.
Karla give you a little heads up on what she thought was going on?
No, not at all. I mean, honestly, I had no idea. But again, like, in that regard, like, my brain is just in another place. And plus, like, I think out of all the couples, the only two couples that really spent every night in their apartment were Karla and I. And Karla and I, Camille
Thomas,
and
yeah.
Thomas. I slept in the same bed as Karla every single night. Maybe things weren't perfect, but we were in the bed every day.
Yeah, y'all were so cool together. I mean,
I
y'all
mean,
had a
listen, it
great,
sucks that this happened,
yes, y'all had a great
yeah.
run.
And regardless of what's going on between Karla and I right now, like all the rockiness and everything, I'm not going to sit here and say that I can't change what I already said. My experience on Married at First Sight was great. I had a good time. It's only been, I can't let 2 weeks of what just happened taint my experience, because my experience was awesome. Like, you know, and people need to understand that people have issues. People have problems at times. It's normal. The confrontation between two people we had, you know, unfortunately, it happened now. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and dwell on it. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
wish her ill or hope that
well,
nothing. I
we're
don't.
not. Yeah, we're not
Regardless
going to do
of
that.
how I feel about you know about my privacy being a little bit violated, I can't. I'm not going to wish these people bad or anything. I hope they're fine. I hope they do great. I hope they have success. I hope Karla finds somebody that loves her for everything that she
And we
is.
hope we hope the same thing for you. I really do. I hope the same thing for you. I hope that you and your girlfriend that you are currently with, that that love continue to grow, and that
Yeah,
you find your comfort, your place in her life. If that's what God has for you, right?
yeah,
Whatever God has for us, He's going to give it to us, and no one can take it away from us. We can only
mhm.
forfeit it, right? So
Absolutely,
I'm just
absolutely.
hoping the best for you too, and I'm hoping that you stay, before you push that button on social media, that you think about it first. And you think about, is this going to benefit me, and
Yeah.
what is my audience, because you have to understand who your audience is, who are
No,
you
for sure.
talking
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah.
and I think that sometimes you go out there and you think, oh yeah, this is gonna, but
No,
no.
no, no. But hear me out. Like, I just want to be clear. I never did that to get, approval or anything. I just, they said some things about, about me and about the whole experience, and I wanted to try to, like, you know, clear things up. And here's, I think one of the places where I have been triggered with people is about, I guess my success, and a lot of people will say I blow smoke, like Juan's so full of it. Listen, I've worked extremely hard. Like, I wake up every day at 4 in the morning because I work my business, and then I have my regular job, and
Thank you.
I do really well, and I'm proud of it. And it
Thank
hasn't been
you.
easy, and I don't come from money. I had a really poor upbringing, and I guess that's one place where I got to work on myself. I can't be triggered because there's nothing for me to prove, really, because I know who I am and I know what I'm doing. So, you're right. I do have to think about that. I take that as constructive criticism, and I don't take it as an offense. I appreciate
Yeah,
your.
I want nothing but the best for you, and I
Mhm.
want nothing but the best for her as well, and
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
and even the other cast members, except for Icky Icky. Yeah, I like Icky Icky. I can't. I
Yeah,
just
but
don't.
you know what? I'll say this. I think Akechi. I think we all have work to do, but I think Akechi's a good guy. I think he just has a little work to do, and I think we all deserve a second chance. You know.
Well, I think that you all gave, I think that you all are a close knit family,
Yeah.
and I think you got
It's a
paid to
dysfunctional
say that,
family, just like every family. We're a dysfunctional family.
right? And I think you got
Yeah.
to, paid to say that, But
Yeah.
no, I mean, really, we buy into your lives.
Hmm.
It's a privilege to be
Yeah.
on television and to have us to buy into your lives, whether it be positive or negative,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And for him, it just was so negative. And then at the
Yeah.
end, you all had this come by here, my lord, type of thing, and we weren't there.
Yeah, no, I understand.
We're not there with
Yeah.
Icky. He's got to do a couple of more things, for us to be there. But
Yeah.
Juan, thank you so much
Yeah, no,
for
absolutely.
taking the time out.
Listen,
Anytime you want to come on my platform and have a conversation, You are so welcome to do that. I really think you're a great guy. I think you are misunderstood. And I think some stuff, you don't know that it's not a good idea until you realize it wasn't a good
Yeah.
idea. And that's part of learning. That's part of
Yeah.
growing
You
up.
learn as you go, you know. Yeah.
And as a content creator, I've said some things that I've regretted, like last season, Married at First Sight, I took off the whole season. I didn't cover it. That was the first year I have
Right.
not covered it. So I just want you to live your best life, be honest with yourself, and just do the damn thing. Do your
Yeah.
business,
I
you
appreciate it. I
know,
appreciate it. I
do your
appreciate it.
business and all of that kind of stuff. Juan, the best. I
Well,
wish you
thank
the
you.
best.
I
Any
really do
last thing
appreciate
you want
you.
to give
And,
any.
and hey, again, if you need anything from me, please, like, don't hesitate. You know
Y'all
where to
need
reach.
some more interviews.
Interviews, or if you need help with whatever, I will try to, I have a lot of connections. So if I can, if you need help with anything, I mean, whatever it is, you seem like a really great human being. So I would be more than glad to
Thank
do
you.
whatever it is for you.
Thank you. I'm good. And so you have no last things that you want to say that you want to close out with?
No, I mean, listen, the most important part aside from anything is that we do something good for society. So hopefully this Juancho's Ponchos thing, maybe you guys buy a sticker, a t-shirt, whatever it is. And I want to commit to helping out, I want to do, that's the most important thing. Like, drama's drama, TV's TV, but at the end of the day, we all share this planet. We all live on this earth together, and all we can do is help each other out, and we're doing our best. Whether we screw up or we say things that other people don't like, we're just doing our best.
Absolutely. Ron,
That's
thank
it.
you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'll contact you
Appreciate
later.
you.
I know you got to go. So I'll contact you tomorrow just to do a follow up. I always try to do a follow up, make sure you're okay. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much for being here,
Thank
my
you,
friend.
Auntie. I appreciate you, and I'm happy for your success and everything you're doing. I hope your channel keeps growing.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye bye. Y'all, thank you all so much for being here. I know that there are mixed feelings, mixed emotions about, these different people that we see on the show. But at the end of the day, as Juan said, we are all human. And we come out here, we laugh, we gag, and we drag, but we do have to realize that they are human. I'm hoping that you all got something out of this interview. Maybe it's changed your mind, maybe it's confirmed what you thought, but whatever it is, I'm just thankful that you were here. I just want to do a shout out to Jean D, and to Deanna, to Jean D again. Is it Aliyah, Ayla, and to Nikki B for the super chats. Thank you all so much. And until we meet again, you all please be safe out there in those streets and in the water. Bye, y'all.